to the podcast. This is season 3. I have Ericka. Hi, Ericka.
This is my first time being in a podcast. It's kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest.
Why? I don't understand how people never invite you to podcasts. I mean, you do so much and then you're like hiding. What are you trying to do?
I don't post a lot, and I really put my voice out there.
This is a sign for you to be more out there.
Yeah.
So, Ericka,
it's a good opportunity, though. I'm really looking forward to it.
So do you want to introduce a little bit about yourself, like what you do and stuff in Canada?
That's my guinea pig. If you hear anything, that's my guinea pig. Anyway, my name is Ericka, and I'm a student in Vancouver. I've been here since February, and I'm studying sound for film. That sounds intimidating, and nobody really knows what I do, but basically I'm doing sound effects and Foley and anything you hear in a movie. So I'm working on a lot of projects right now. It's getting crazier because I'm on my last term, but I'm breathing.
Wait, sound movies is interesting. So is it like, when in a movie there's certain sound effects? Is that what you're trying to study?
Yes. We don't really study it much. We just practice. So I guess we have to observe in our own time. I watch a lot of movies for studying, but yeah, that's a good excuse. I have to learn how to make a certain sound, like explosions, even people running. I have to make it sound right. Everything, plates, spoons, ice cream.
What's the most interesting sound effect you created or you have to learn?
Most interesting, I would say a lot of magic scenes are very, very interesting. It's really difficult though to make because you combine wind and then chimes and then a lot of weird stuff, and you need a lot of programs to do that. It's not just you out there recording in the woods. It's definitely a lot of processing. So yeah, that's what I like most, I think.
So Ericka, the reason I invited you today because we're going into this segment called Millennials Create. And I know that you are a millennial and you're doing a lot of things. So I just wanted to ask, what kind of interests you to get into this whole sound thing? What took you, one day you just wake up and you want to do sound, or what is it?
Funny story. This goes way back when I was 3 years old. So this is a very funny story. So I used to be obsessed with Britney Spears when I was 3. And I was like, this sounds cool. And so my aunt has I guess she had a movie theater. And then I always play my Britney Spears concert CD there. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed how it sounds in theaters. I guess me being 3 years old, I don't know what it was exactly, but it kind of I got really attached with theaters a lot, and until I grow up, you can ask my parents, although you never met them, but you can ask them I watched movies in theaters almost every week until I was 18. So it's always in my schedule to watch something on the theater. And plus I like music. I was really into music for a few years when I was I think I was 14 when I started doing music until I was 18. So I was initially going for music production, but I kind of altered to sound for film because, to be honest, it makes more money. But yeah, it's kind of funny. But no. But it was just me taking a risk and going for something I was really I'm really familiar of, film. It's kind of cool. And there was there's not a lot of good music school that are budget friendly. So that's like the logical answer. But to be honest, yeah, it goes way back. Like if I can remember, I just love going to the theater and hearing stuff on the theater.
That's nice. It's a bit like different and stepping out of your comfort zone, but the idea of music and
Yeah.
songs already in your blood in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's not really familiar in Indonesia, especially.
Oh,
Like every time I tell someone like, "Hey, I'm doing sound for film," they're like, "What are you gonna do with sound? I mean, what are you doing?" Like they never really understood. And one time I posted like a video that I did. I think it was a video of cars. It was like a trailer on Instagram, and they were like, this is what you're doing all this time. You're doing these kind of thing," and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
hard to explain,
I
but
think they're still processing the idea of you doing the work because obviously it's not very normal in Indonesia to do that.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, Erica, like what you said about movies and music, actually, the topic we're doing today is toxic culture, like what I sent you. But I want to kind of, although the questions I sent you are kind of general, I want to kind of, put this topic into your industry and what you're doing. With music and movies, you are a big fan of movies, like what you said, and music. I know you like a little, you like Ariana Grande, you love her, and we both love Taylor Swift. We know that.
Oh yeah.
Big
Oh yeah.
Swiftie. We love her.
Do you know what my email address is?
I bet it's like something with 13 or like
Oh
Eric,
my god.
right? Because mine was too.
What's yours?
Mine used to be like Esther Cordian 13 or something,
Mine is Erica Florencia 13.
right? Goody's 13. We love Taylor.
Oh my god. Yeah, and I have like a poster. You can't see it, but I have a poster on my wall of Taylor Swift.
Is she your
Yeah.
favorite? Like, who's your favorite singer out of the music, like, in the music industry right now?
Vocal wise, definitely Ariana.
Really?
Like, yeah, like just the vocal, Ariana. But like songs, songwriting, Taylor Swift
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
both of them are gifted in different ways. I 100%
Yeah.
agree with you. Different talents.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because like every time Taylor releases anything new, it's always so good. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's bias or whatever, but I always love the music she puts out.
I don't think it's biased. I think because this is kind of off topic, but there was a documentary that Ariana put out on Netflix, and then Taylor also put out a documentary on Netflix. You know that, right?
Yes.
And I felt like Taylor's documentary has more talking. It has more,
Yeah.
it has more insights in a way. I'm not saying that the other one doesn't have insight. It's just more singing rather than
Yeah.
talking.
Hmm.
So yeah, again, coming back to what we were saying, I
Yeah.
was wondering, like, do you think that with the entertainment culture nowadays, there are a lot of toxic culture that's also exerted in the industry? And to you, what does that look like?
What does it look like? To be honest, I don't know much about the real industry because I'm not there yet. I'm like halfway. But I've heard a lot of stories about how there's just so much pressure on, especially in the creative industry. Like everyone's creative, everyone's passionate. Like everyone has their own idea, everyone's unique. They try to make themselves look cool. But the toxic culture would probably be competing with others when we should probably like go hand in hand to make the industry better. I think there's a lot of I don't know how you say it in English. In Indonesia, it's like niku, you know? Do you know that expression?
There's a lot of shade.
Shady and like stepping on people to get to where you want to be. Yeah, a lot of that and bribing. Occasionally, like, oh, there are also like I've heard a lot of like sexual assaults and like I think it was the hashtag Me Too. Was that the one about where people are like Cara Delevingne kind of shared how um she was forced to do like a sexual thing with this director or photographer. Yeah, and that's happening a lot in this industry, sadly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually true because again, like I actually want to jump into the next question. Like you kind of talk about hashtag. I was a big fan of Twitter before. I don't know if you
Oh
still
yeah.
use Twitter, but there's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
cancel culture in Twitter. Do you realize that? Like a lot of people are canceled, and then there's
Oh
like
yeah.
remember like the Taylor's over party, like this really big deal of cancel culture. Personally, for me, I think cancel culture is not necessarily healthy for just it's not a healthy thing to have people to how many people has to tweet for a hashtag to be trending on Twitter, right? A
Yeah, like
lot of people.
yeah, like 50K sometimes.
I think a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's insane.
it's a lot of people, and that's the reason why I got off Twitter, because of that kind of culture. So
Oh
to
yeah.
you, in your opinion, like with cancel culture, especially nowadays, how do you feel about it? Like, what do you think?
Oh gosh. You know what? Cancel culture is one of the most stupid thing that's ever happened on the internet. I feel like they're just doing things that normal people do. I know I'm not justifying like I'm not trying to be on anyone's side, but like let's say let's say your uncle harass someone, he won't get canceled. But if Justin Bieber does that, well, he's out. He's like, bye. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like yeah, and like I feel like people just do a lot of mistakes in general. Like it doesn't matter whether it's like because I don't think there's like something that's worse than another. I think that mistakes are mistakes, and just because they're famous, they get a lot of a lot of attention, and they're just putting like people are putting them in spotlight. So I don't think it should matter as much. I'm not saying they're not wrong. I'm saying that that's not gonna happen if like someone that's not famous are doing that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree on what you said about the famous part, because I think the whole point of cancel culture is just the problem with it is actually the perspective of it, right?
Yeah.
It's a perspective that people put in to these celebrities, if you may, that they are expected to act and do certain things certain
Exactly.
ways, not
Yeah.
something that normal people don't do it too, right? That's what
Yeah.
you said. I
Exactly.
I think it's very wrong sided.
Yeah, I think it's like people are like, and when we say that, people will be like, well, it's not our fault that you're famous. Well, well, you made them famous in the first place. It's like yeah, it's like just trying to point out someone for their mistakes, and I'm saying it's not necessary. To be honest, it's not necessary. It's like you're putting this like you're taking their rights of being wrong as a human being.
Yeah, that's true. And then like later when they come on the internet to explain, everybody's just like, you know what, like we don't need your explanation. As
Yeah,
if
and
they
like
know the whole story. It's insane.
that's crazy. And they would say like, I apologize for this matter and this matter, and they would be like, what's done is done. You can't apologize for what is done, and the effect has been like, yeah, and like it's crazy how they do that, and they do it successfully. You know what I'm saying? And like
Okay, Twitter is getting money. Twitter is getting money.
definitely, and like Twitter is, I think it's one of the, I think it's the least censored or like
Oh,
monetized platform out there. Yeah, because
yeah.
like you can post anything in there. Like oh my god, when I was like little, I kind of like there were a lot of leaked stuff in there. Like Viners back then, their iCloud were like hacked and they got leaked on Twitter and they didn't take it down. That's crazy.
Yeah. I want to talk about like social media platform wise. So like what we said, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, am I missing anything? Oh, Snapchat, like all these social media platforms. I feel like sometimes even us, like the young people, we can't even keep up anymore because there's so much platform.
Yeah.
You know, there's so.
I feel so old because I can't keep up. Oh my god, I haven't opened my Snapchat in like 6 months.
I don't like Snapchat actually. I don't use Snapchat.
You don't? Yeah, since Instagram has its new feature, it's too much.
So what do you think is the most, I wouldn't say toxic because then without social media, that kind of, it interrupts the connection, the communication we have with people. But for you personally, what's the app that makes you so anxious? Like, you know, some people think it's Instagram, some people think it's Twitter. For you, what is it? Which app?
I don't get on Twitter that much, so I can't say. But probably Instagram. I think you know. Like, I'm always on my Instagram, always posting stories. Like, when my brother falls down, I just record. When anything happens, I just record them. And, like, I think I get anxious because, have you seen the influencers? I like visuals, man. Yeah, like visuals, like how they look. Um, I'm not saying I'm insecure, but it's like it's intimidating a little bit. A little bit.
I think like what you said about Instagram, I totally agree with you about visuals. I think visuals is one of the aspect that obviously nowadays people, visual is what you see is basically everything you want, you consume in your brain. So
Yeah.
I feel like with visuals following that, it's not Instagram's fault. I think it's just that how we're kind of using the platform.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily their fault, but it's like how we perceive it and like the content we post sometimes. That can be a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've seen some people actually succeed in doing their online business on Instagram, and that's great. Some people promoted their like Blackpink's doing really well. Like they're just fully on promoting stuff. But like there are some people who are just there to seek for validation. And I was there once. I mean, just being honest, I was there once because everyone wants to be told that they're good. That hey, you're cool. You look really good. Oh my god, you lost weight. Oh my god, you gained weight. Things like that, it affects me more than I thought it would at first.
100%. You don't have to feel guilty about it. I think every millennial nowadays, like I'm even guilty for it. I feel like people, like social media is a platform where, you know, you share your stuff, but obviously people do seek validation from strangers.
Yeah.
So ironic, you know what I mean? It's strangers.
I know, it's kind of weird. And like we don't really care about what our brother said about like how we look. Like when my brother said that I'm pretty, I'm like, like I think I don't know.
I totally feel you.
But when like a follower of mine that I've never met, like from Dubai or somewhere, and when they're like, "Hey girl, you look so good," I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you." Yeah, it's kind of wild.
I know what you mean. It's okay. We've all been there. Admit it or not, we've been there.
We've been there.
Yeah,
Yep.
we've been there.
Done that. Never again.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, dude, I want to talk about like, you know, going forward. I think kids nowadays grow up more than faster than we did. Like, now 8-year-old kids are like belly dancing on TikTok, you know?
Oh god. Yeah.
And I want to ask, like, going forward, I know that I met you at church. We both met at church, and
Yep.
I knew you because you were playing piano for the youth,
Yeah.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
how do you think, with the development of the digital industry and again toxic culture, how does these two kind of interfere and like how it will affect the younger generations, you know, when they grow up? or not even now?
Yeah. Fun fact, my little cousin who's 8 years old, she has an Instagram account. I was shook. She followed me and I'm like, how did she find me? In the first place, how did she make an account in the first place? Like when I was 8, I was running around the like my I don't know how like my neighborhood. Like I was playing hide and seek. And that's I was like, how did you get here? But yeah, I feel like when they get onto the online world, there's like no limit, no boundaries of what they will find, what they will see, what they will hear.
It is scary.
Like
I'm not gonna lie, it's scary.
it's so like, especially when they have their own like phones and their like their own iPad that they bring everywhere. Like their parents don't really check what they're looking at. I'm not saying that it's entirely bad, but social media, I'm not sure about that, man. Like I'm not convinced that they're actually getting the good stuff into their like head. Cause like not gonna lie, they're so much smarter than I was, like when I was 8. Like they can do anything.
I actually agree with this one because I mean, like, I don't even think I had Skype that day. I mean, I was playing Nintendo, but that was about it, Like Game Boy, remember Game Boy?
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the technology we had, I think.
Game Boy, NDS, and like I think it was Wii,
Yeah.
Xbox.
But we
That's
were
about
like
it.
new, dude. Like it wasn't even like that big yet, It was new. We
Yeah, yeah.
it was new.
And we were just playing with our family members, I think. We were not like going out, reaching out to people in America.
Yeah, I don't think
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no doubt that they're so much more advanced, so much more like they could get onto the creative side of like the internet. Like, did you see who? Wait, I gotta search up for it because I remember last year's #1 YouTuber was a little kid.
Oh really? What's her name?
Okay, I gotta search this up because I forgot his name. He made more than Mr. Beast and PewDiePie.
Oh, that
He
is
made more than Jeffree Star,
no
and
way,
that is
man. That is
insane.
great.
Yeah, I think it was this Asian kid. What is he called?
Wow, kids nowadays are developing.
Yeah, and he earned like $27 million in a year.
Wow, okay, that is big money for a
That
kid.
is big. So like it depends on how they take it, like how they use it. And I mean they're kids, so we can't really like tell them like um they don't really understand like what is positive or negative at that point, I think. But yeah, I think parents' role is kind of huge on this one.
Oh, I
Cause yeah, cause
100%.
yeah, cause the kid who ranked #1, he I think he was yeah he was managed by his parents, and his account was it was fully like managed by his parents. So a huge push from their parents would be really good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think as long as it's within the parents' guideline and stuff, I think it'd be okay. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think that nowadays there are things that, parents, boomers, whatever they're called, like no offense, that they don't really understand. And maybe the concept of what is offered on social media itself, they don't get it, they just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You get that?
yeah,
Even sometimes like with my brother and my sister, they're only like 30, 35. My oldest sister, she's around that age. And sometimes I would talk to her and like discuss about all this social media thing, and she wouldn't understand, as if we live in a very different generation. Dude,
yeah,
it's only 2 decades different. Like it's not like she's like 60 or anything, right? It's different. And I think it'll be much different for the kids that are growing, that are coming to close the generation.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. That's actually a good point. But I don't know if you know. I don't know if you have like any like I don't know if you know like anyone who's done this before. But a lot of the people I know, when they have kids, like when they gave birth and they have their first child, they instantly make an Instagram account for them.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people would do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of that, and well, good for you, but it's kind of
On that.
oh, wow, like how times have changed. But I totally understand how this could be bad or good depending on how the parents probably like take it like on their child. But I don't know what I'm going on. But I don't know what I'm really going on. But yeah, that's what I think.
What do you think though? Is it leaning towards the positive side or the negative side, in your opinion?
Mm, to be honest, mm, I'm probably more on the positive side, because you can't help that like the time has changed. You can't help that technology is running more than like it's probably more dangerous for kids to go outside on their own nowadays than just like browsing on the internet. Um, so times have changed and they just follow. I
Yeah,
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think that kids going outside and like browsing on the internet, I think both of them have like equal damage. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I think it has the damage on its own, you know. It's
definitely.
yeah. I don't know what to say to that, but it has the damage on its own.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to talk about Western culture. You know, you're in Canada and you're an international student, so you
Yeah.
understand Western culture. You live in a country right now, currently, that accept things that our country doesn't, or that, you know, is able to bring up controversial topics and things that are taboo. Do you think that toxic culture is leaning towards more a Western perspective, not perspective, Western point of view, or is it Asian point of view? Like, where do you think toxic culture lies in the two barriers?
Okay. I feel like there's no there's no certain location that could actually um define toxic culture, because toxic culture is for me, it's like it's how someone respond to things and how someone perceive things, like like just what we just talked about. Like social media could be dangerous or it could be great. Like I don't really see it anywhere. I just see it individually for each person, because toxic culture is everywhere. Like it's everywhere. But I feel like I understand why you're asking about Western westernized world, I guess, because people here are really free. Like they're so free that the government can't even stop people from not wearing masks. Like they're so open-minded, that there's not really wrong or right here. And of course, I think it often happens here because the entertainment industry here is huge, but so is Korea, so is Japan. And I don't feel like, or you can tell me more about that, because I don't feel like it's anywhere really.
Actually, I think I agree with you. I think it's just a matter of I think it's everywhere, but like what I was leaning towards was again with the entertainment industry being big. And I know this is not true, but everybody's like, I thought Canada is, America's neighbor or whatever. And so I think I'm leaning towards more, Southern California and Hollywood type of industry. So
Yeah.
in that within that industry, and Erica, you can't deny it. I mean, you're going to be working for movie production in the future, so that's a little bit, you can't deny that that's also your dream. It's there.
Yeah,
It's not.
definitely.
It's there. So I think leaning towards that aspect and that concept in Hollywood, like what of culture that Hollywood inserted in, that they put out nowadays that you think it's toxic.
Mm, oh wow. What they put out that is so toxic. Like a lot of the toxic stuff is actually happening behind the scenes, to
Oh,
be honest.
that's debatable.
That's debatable. But I feel like what's out there that like you can see in everyday life is probably because people start putting like Hollywood as the standard of first living, and also like you know how they love having um like Hollywood, the Hollywood looks, like how like we would love to have double eyelids, things like that. I feel like because their entertainment and their media game is like really really good, that it has become like a spotlight for a lot of toxic stuff. Um, so like what's happening right now is probably things um like body goals, like Hollywood. Have you seen their bodies? And like,
Hashtag.
yeah, insane. Hashtag body goals. And like, if you want to talk about the music industry, um, like, have you seen Demi Lovato right now? Have you seen her at this point?
Yeah, I think the last picture I saw of her was when she went to the Jordan River or something. Like she went to,
Oh,
yeah, with her new boyfriend.
oh yeah, but that was a while back.
Girl, I'm not that up to date anymore.
Yeah, she just posted like how she loved her cellulites.
Oh,
She was just like, I love my cellulites so much, I put highlighters on them. That's kind of funny, but she gets a lot of shade for that. Like, she gets a lot of like critiques and comments for that.
yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I feel like that's a very brave thing to do. You know,
That is, and not a lot of people would like to do that. A lot of people Photoshop their thighs. Not
actually,
gonna lie.
I agree with you about the whole body thing because I think that a lot of people, I don't know what it is, or I don't know if it's just like the criteria. People have a problem with how other people look. And
They
I
do.
and I don't I never understand, like I understand. I mean, we both have eyes. We know what's pleasing and what's not pleasing, right? Like that's
Yeah.
obvious. But my problem is that um why do you have so much problem with the way other people look? Because, you know, I think if you want to feel skinny and you feel great when you're skinny, then that works for you. If you want to be a little bit,
Exactly.
not as skinny and you feel great and you don't have a problem with yourself, that works for you. And
Yeah, yeah.
I know that health is important, obviously, but like I don't understand like why do you have to look a certain way? Like why because someone said so. Or because do you know what I mean? Like I think that
Yeah.
expectation is, I mean, the fact that you want to feel better and exercise, that's positive. But if you want to say like I want to do this because of that certain expectation, or again like what you said about the body image thing, that's toxic. Do you know what I mean?
That's the most toxic things that happening right now. Cause like everyone is suddenly on Instagram showing off their bodies. And on TikTok. Do you know how many famous guys out there that are just showing their bodies and get like 10 million likes on their bodies? And like I don't know about guys, but like girls are like always obsessed with that. Most, not saying all.
No, I understand why they are obsessed. I understand, again, like what you said with the developed culture, I understand where they're coming from. But I
Mhm.
think that it shouldn't be as centered and, you know,
Exactly.
narcissistic as it is. But I have nothing against it. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like there's this unnecessary invisible standard that everyone is aware of.
No one wants to talk about it.
Yeah, and like it's one of the most toxic things that I could think of right now. Other than other than cancel culture. Um I feel like I don't think there's a way to solve it. Like I think it's gonna happen. Like it's been like beauty standards have been is always different as like time goes. Um but I feel like people should really educate themselves more. Like I'm not saying this to be shady, but like um please,
Coming from.
yeah, like please like educate yourself on, first of all, what to say to people, and like emotional intelligence, think about how people feel and being aware of their condition. And like because like when someone is, I'm sorry, this might be sensitive to some people, but when someone is not well mentally, they can't be going to the gym and be like focused on their diet that much, you know what I mean?
That's something that I think even like with quarantine now and with the whole COVID,
Yeah.
people are like not aware of the fact that people are actually going through stuff, and like these whole social media and with it developing, it also disturbed the fact that there are like people are living their lives, dude. You can't put that kind of emphasis.
Yes. Yes, I feel like it's just like as I'm getting older, it feels like that's like old news. And like that's so unnecessary. Like that's not necessary anymore because like as you grow, you have to learn to love yourself. And I'm not saying being narcissistic, but like love yourself inside out. Like who you are as a person, and like it'll shine through. I don't think it should matter, like I don't think like because a lot of girls they want to be under like, I don't know, a lot of girls that I know, they're like, oh my god, I'm under 50 kilograms. I'm like, good for you, but like, is that your goal? Aren't we supposed to, like dream to go to NASA or something? Like dream of something else. I'm not saying it to be shady. I'm just saying it to be like open your eyes to other things in the world that are important, that will get you to a more healthier state, and that will actually change your like mindset to a better one, instead of just putting your phone on your face and hoping you'll be like that person. I feel like it's just a matter of time and like how you would like how willing you are to learn to do that.
Yeah, I understand. I completely get the perspective you're talking from. So, dude, well, I kind of want to close up the podcast, but before I close up, there's actually one more topic that was I intend to put out there before we start the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know how those Hollywood movies with love as a center point of the storyline, and this like McDreamy kind of Prince Charming type of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I think that kind of culture, that kind of stuff has been put in since we were kids. Like, you watch Cinderella and then there's a prince, you
Oh
watch there's a prince. Do you feel like relationship status sometimes, even like the idea of relationship, can be jeopardized because like singleness is no longer an option? I feel like being with somebody is now like a mandatory thing.
yeah.
Because
Like you're not cool enough if you're single. Definitely.
what's your opinion on that? I want to know.
Oh god. Okay, let me tell you one thing. I'm single and I'm very happy. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh, same. Jesus is enough.
Jesus is enough. But no, for real. I totally get where you're coming from though. A lot of my friends here, not the Indonesian friends here, not the my Western friends, or like Mexicans and Americans, they don't talk about this as much. But my Indonesian friends, they're obsessed with relationships. And funny enough that it's always like when their friends have girlfriends. So I have a few male friends here who are like mostly taken, and like those are not taken, they feel kind of like left behind in a way. And I keep on telling them like, hey, like, don't you have any other goals that you're looking, like, come on, like, oh man, we're 20, for God's sakes. It's insane how movies, I mean, I'm supposed to be promoting them because I get paid for it, but like it's crazy how
The
it
impact.
it does affect you a lot. And like to be honest, I love romance films, but like they're getting cliche after a while, but they're so cute. Like To All of the Boys I've Loved, I mean, I don't love it, but it's a feel good kind of film, you know.
I think the idea of it, that's why the movie sells so well. It's the idea
Yes,
that
like,
was in the movie.
yeah, and the kissing booth, like, oh my god. And lastly, people were like, I think they were obsessing, what was it called, The Startup. I don't know if you know this, it's a Korean series.
Oh, I don't watch Korean series.
Yeah, and they're, but you know, Korean series are always about that. Yeah, I don't think, here's the thing, what I learned last year, what I learned the most last year was to actually take the time to know myself as a person.
Oh, 100%.
Because like, yeah, because like when you know yourself and what you want to like reach for, you know that having a boyfriend or a girlfriend is not, like, it's not a priority at all. Because like,
I totally
take a look,
hit me hard last year.
oh yeah, because like take a look at your brothers, take a look at your sisters, take a look at your mom and dad. Like they probably need you right now, like in these tough times. Like I'm away from them right now. That's kind of unfortunate, but this is really good for me because it made me realize, like, why am I looking for something that is non-existent right now, and I'm ignoring things that are like here for me. Like they're here for, my mom calls me almost every day, and like, why don't I focus on those things that I have and stop thinking about what I don't have. And it
Gratitude.
kind of, yeah, it kind of like sets my route or path, I guess, so that I don't go like, I kind of want a boyfriend. It distracts me a lot, to be honest. It's a huge distraction. And so I feel like just take a look around you, like learn about yourself, and see like who needs you at this point, like your friends, your best friend, your parents. I think like set a value, like think of your values in life. I don't think boyfriend should be one. Or like girlfriends.
I think that um, especially like coming from, a school with a lot of international kids, like we all have different priorities and different
Definitely.
way. And the one thing I learned is that uh, sometimes when your value doesn't align, it creates a lot of conflict. Even in friendship,
Yeah.
that's a lot of conflict. But sometimes it just has to be that way, like it just has to be that way.
Yes.
The things that happen to you has to happen. The things that don't happen to you, then maybe the path is not for you. And like
Yeah.
personally, I think that being single or not being with a significant other, however you define it, um, whatever you like, is a choice. I actually think it's a choice.
It is. It definitely is. And like, good good if I have one. But also I'm okay if I don't have. Commitment is not easy. Let me tell you that.
Girl.
Like, oh my god, like think about the future. I don't want to sound cheesy or anything, but like, yeah, I don't think I mean, I get it. You only live once. Have fun. It's like you're on your 20s, but like one day you'll realize like relationship is not as simple as you think, because it's really not. And like I really would like to say more, but that would be like for another episode.
We're gonna have
Yeah, it's hopefully. I mean, I would be honored. I don't know if I'm doing well right now, but
facts. I'm scared that like the audience is gonna be traumatized. PTSD.
Yeah, like, oh my god, are they just gonna talk about me? Just kidding. No. But seriously, yeah, I mean, take it lightly, but at the same time, think. Like, consider it sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I agree. So to kind of close up the segment and the pod and this first episode, very special, a lot of content and context. I want to ask you, is there one quote you live by that you would like to share to everyone that maybe is also useful in the context we just talked about?
To be honest, I never memorize quotes because I forget them. To be honest, yeah. But I feel like what I've been telling myself this past year is just know yourself. And like having emotional intelligence is really important. That's like a side note. But like know yourself and like think about what's real in this life and stop reaching out to things that is unnecessary.
Not available for you.
And not available for you. I was just about to say that. I was like, that you're not able to reach for. But not being pessimistic though. Because like you know what things are there that you should just not reach out for. And like, yeah, and like how do you know that? It's just by knowing yourself and like what you want to do. If I keep on stressing myself out, I can't grow. So like that's a good step for me. I mean, it could be different for anyone.
So yeah, I think we just share our experience with each other and see the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, and like stop thinking about people, man. Like stop thinking about people, like fix yourself. Like it's really important.
Yeah, I learned that last year too. Hard pill.
Hard pill. Yeah, it's really hard to swallow. But you know, I mean, you can't get rid of toxic culture. You can only respond to it better.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's your quote. You should do
That's my quote.
what is it called? I'll put it as a title. You can't get rid of toxic culture. You can respond to it better. Ericka Florencia.
Oh my god.
It's a quote, long-lived quote.
Oh, I would love that. Okay, yeah. It's so awesome. I love this.
I love the content. I love that the first episode is you, and then I chose you.
Aww.
I knew you were gonna be a good speaker. You were like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm like, no, you're good. I know you have a lot in you. You should, go out there. So I hope that episode is insightful for people and for you, and so that you can put yourself out there.
Totally. Thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for inviting me. Never in a million years I thought I would be in a podcast.
Thanks, Ericka. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy this. This is really fun to do.
Yes, she's gonna be back. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. She'll be back.
I can't wait.